Every Sonic Frontiers character is extremely broken. The Final Horizon update added Sonic's pals as playable characters, and all of them are able to fly through the Starfall Islands, if you know the right techniques. But what are those techniques? Did you know that basically none of my audience is subscribed? If you could help me fix that, it would mean the world. Knuckles feels a bit off in Sonic Frontiers. He has startup on his glide and his equivalent of stomp, and he also turns like an 18-wheeler while gliding. Because of this, speedrunners have had to find other ways to go fast and skip as much of the Knuckles sections as possible. The easiest and most impactful find is that Knuckles can gain infinite height by just punching. Knuckles' 3-punch combo ends with an uppercut, and once you unlock it, you can use his glide or parry to reset the combo. So essentially, you can combo into glide startup, drop the glide, and then combo again to gain a bit of height. While one of these doesn't really do too much, a few of them can sometimes skip entire platforming challenges and get to major objectives easier. To make this even faster, there's an even cooler combination of tech that makes this much more effective. To do this, start up a 3-punch combo, and as the uppercut comes out, activate Spin Dash. This will give you an extra boost based on the upward speed. Then you can reset the combo like normal. These new characters are so much slower than Sonic when just boosting or running along like normal, so speedrunners needed to figure out how to move around effectively, especially considering how big Aranos Island is and how far apart each objective is. One thing that speedrunners noticed is that Spin Dash is just as fast as Sonic's version. However, it takes quite a lot of skill points to unlock. Because of this, speedrunners routed in as many skill points as possible to get it in Knuckles' first section. Spin Dash also for some reason makes it so that you are much more likely to fly up into the air. While traversing bumpy ground, this can be annoying as you will come off the ground and lose some speed. However, speedrunners also massively use this to their advantage in the Knuckles section of the run. Another big discovery is that Knuckles' glide actually stores his current speed you're traveling at when you start it up. The question is though, how could you utilize this since he's usually slow? The answer to this question lies in a tech as old as Frontiers itself, the homing dash, or the griddy if you're cool I guess. This tech still works for Knuckles, and outside of spin dashing is actually the best way to gain speed quickly. Runners would go up to high areas on the map on the way to their objective and use the griddy to get up to speed and activate a glide. Since the glide has no fall off and can pretty much just maintain the same height, having nearly top speed in the air becomes the best way to navigate as long as there's nothing in the way. The griddy can also be used in combination with the quick-step spam, or QSS for short, which is where you hold the quick-step button not only to maintain the speed you start with, but you also get a little boost every time the character launches to the side. While this is a little bit harder to take good lines and navigate directly to your goal, it is so much faster that it's just worth doing even if you don't do it well. Speaking of the objectives for Knuckles, how do you do these quickly? While this isn't specifically a Knuckles thing, many people may not know that you can actually use the control stick instead of only the face buttons for mashing during these QTEs. I've seen people making this discovery all over the place recently, and I figured this was worth sharing since it can be used for every mashing QTE in the game. This massively speeds up the time it takes to complete, as every time you hit one of the 8 directions, the game registers it and it counts as an input, making one rotation of the stick 8 full inputs. When combining this with still mashing the face buttons, these QTEs go from long, difficult button mashing sessions to extremely quick, and it also saves your hands a bit too. Tails is one of those characters in this update that speedrunners barely even needed to break in the first place, but we do have some glitches to go over. The tornado mech ability is so broken for Tails that you can fly anywhere on the map very quickly as long as you have the boost to do so. Something to utilize on top of this from the base game of Frontiers is that if you side loop in an infinity symbol, you get unlimited boost for 3 minutes. Combining these two functions can enable Tails to fly in a perfect line for any objective he needs to complete. I even tested it out, and you can fly from corner to corner and back without running out of boost with this method, or even fly out so far the map starts to unload. No idea why they thought this was okay, but maybe they just wanted us to have some fun with the brokenness. If for some reason this wasn't enough, there actually is a way to get infinite boost. If you activate the barrel roll, the tornado can regain boost during this time. By just holding down the bumpers, you can effectively never drop out of the tornado and go wherever you want. In the speedrun, runners just go out of their way to get skill points and gain the tornado ability ASAP, as it's extremely broken. They even side loop a few times since it's so much faster to use it than doing anything else. While most people probably know how broken the tornado is, there is also a big glitch with it that I haven't seen anyone talk about. Shout out to the Spectre Gamer for showing this glitch to me, and to my knowledge being one of the first people to mention it at all. The tornado takes a ton of skill points to unlock it, and if you want to use the Cyclone Cannon ability, you not only have to unlock the tornado, but that ability after as well. As you can imagine, this isn't incredibly useful in any percent speedrun, but if you're looking to complete the Final Horizon update and don't want to go on a scavenger hunt, this is for you. It turns out that you don't even need to unlock the ability to use it. When using the boost to bring out the tornado, simply press and hold the button for the Cyclone Cannon and it'll activate even if you haven't unlocked the ability, effectively making buying the ability completely worthless since it functionally changes nothing. This is super helpful as the Cyclone Cannon is mandatory in certain sections of the Tails area if you're trying to complete the map. These barriers can only be broken by the Cyclone Cannon, so not having to unlock the pricey ability can save a ton of your time. Amy is arguably the most well-balanced character of the new additions. She doesn't have a ton of her own speedrun tech so far, but her movement in general lends itself to great speedrun routing. Amy's moveset is largely not great for movement as a lot of it requires quite a bit of startup or standing still to activate. There is one part of her movement that breaks her section entirely though, the triple jump. Amy's triple jump is one of the single best tools in the game because of the amount of height that you can get from them. The third jump can also maintain your speed and slows your fall. The jump deceleration slider added in Update 2 makes this possible, as you can turn down the jump deceleration and Amy will not lose any speed at all midair. That means that if you reach Amy's top speed from a decent height, you can clear massive parts of the island quickly and skip large platforming sections that she's meant to go through. Speedrunners take full advantage of this ability. Luckily, Amy does have the homing attack, and just like Sonic, she can pull off the homing dash. While the timing is a bit different than Sonic's, if you activate the homing dash and then jump out of it to maintain the speed, you can go way faster than Amy was intended to go. Speedrunners use this tech to make Amy's sections some of the fastest in the Final Horizon update. While Sonic isn't new in this update, there are a few discoveries that break Sonic I haven't been able to share on my channel. One of the craziest ones is cross-slash warping, or as we affectionately call it, getting faded. This was discovered by Twitter user Gold, who tweeted at me late last year, and it is ridiculous how far this sends Sonic. While the community hasn't really been able to figure out how this works and utilize it properly, it could be super useful if a consistent setup is found. From what I know now, this trick has basically not been replicated at all, so nothing has actually come from it yet. Another strat that has been around for a while is the sling dash. Similar to the slingshot, the sling dash involves going far away from an enemy. You then need to use the stomp ability to very quickly close the gap, and before the game can slow you down, cancel out of it with spin dash. The slingshot in comparison is boost instead of spin dash, however, this difference allows for some big benefits. The main and most important difference is because you can use the sling dash while Sonic is midair. Usually you need to use the homing dash to get away from the enemy far enough and also keep the lock on. Because of this, you don't have boost in midair and can't activate the slingshot, but with sling dash, you don't need a boost to use it. This allows for some really interesting routing on Rhea Island as you can navigate from tower to tower at basically any section of the island. Sonic Frontiers Final Horizon update was a great experiment and super fun to play around with and break the rest of the cast. Now that Frontiers is a complete product, I think we can all agree it's a huge step in the right direction. It's been a fun ride covering all of these new ways to break the game with you all. Thanks for watching.